5 years ago I cruelly broke up with Mei and left a message that I will never reconcile with him. The next day I went to study abroad. 5 years later I became a famous doctor. He is an upstart in the business world. I have fantasized about meeting him again countless times. The only thing I didn't expect was that it would be an emergency scene. Song Qingyu opened his eyes tiredly. He raised his hand to me with all his strength. I had no choice but to put my face close to his hand. After a long time I heard a chuckle. He struggled to speak to Lin Bei. "You ungrateful person." Song Qingyu fell down without any strength. "Keep coughing." Blood began to pour out from the wound in large amounts. Shouting someone is coming, covering his wounds. Don't dare to let go for a moment. When colleagues lifted him, 2 energy bars fell out of Song Qingyu's pocket. I recognized this was 6 years ago. That autumn night, when Song Qingyu helped me on the highway. I gave it to him casually. I cried until I couldn't help myself. Along the way, I was frantically urging you to drive faster. Operating room. I called the thoracic surgeon before putting on the sterile gown. Find someone to do joint surgery. 7 hours later, the lights in the operating room went out. A group of people were talking around me. I collapsed to the ground. It's okay, my life is out of danger. Then Song Qingyu was pushed out by the nurse. Everyone gathered around. Chen Haonan and Lin Wanqing came over to help me. I waved my hand. I still have patience. As I said that, I got up and walked to the emergency room. Then move on to the next patient. Until 4 p.m. the next day, I just made time to come to Song Qingyu's ward. There is no one else in the ward except him. Severe injuries and excessive blood loss made his face pale. Not awake yet, Song Qingyu was very quiet in the hospital bed. Breathing is also very stable. I reached out and touched his forehead. Checked the data on the instrument. After everything is normal, put the energy bar you just picked up on the bed next to his hospital bed. A powerful workload on the head cabinet. It kept me awake for 2 days and 1 night. Holding on to the bed. Sit gently on the stool. Look at him silently. After a long time, he turned around and left the ward. New week. Several colleagues and I, including routine ward rounds by your own tutor. Song Qingyu lives in the VIP ward. He is awake, half lying on bed. He doesn't look energetic yet. Eyes fixed on me. I look through the medical records without even looking at him. Walk up and check the instrument. Finally, he reached out and touched his forehead. Try body temperature. Song Qingyu shook his head forcefully. Don't look at how I feel. I asked aloud. The other party was silent. The atmosphere is a bit awkward. Suddenly a weak voice interrupted. Song Qingyu gasped in pain. The voice was so cold that it could no longer be. I asked for a different doctor. Several people nearby were struck by this tense atmosphere. I was so scared that I dared not speak out. I walked forward with the medical records in one hand. The other hand is on the side of Song Qingyu's head. Madam, the emergency department is very busy. Otherwise, you think I am willing to serve you. He didn't expect me to be so quiet either. If you don't want to see me, just take good care of yourself. You won't leave until you're sick. He'll tell you to get lost. Before leaving, I seem to remember something. He looked back at Song Qingyu. To put it bluntly, I'm older. If the response is slow and it doesn't work, find a driver. Song Qingyu now wants to stand up from the hospital bed. Give me a kick. After that, I took the lead. Go ahead. Colleagues at the back, and the interns walked out sparsely. The ward was quiet again. Soon I received a call from my tutor. Let me go to his office. As soon as I entered the door, I saw him raising his head with a solemn expression. Teacher, what do you want from me? I would still like to call him privately. What's wrong, teacher? The medical office called me. He said he received a report call. When you were there, the 8-bed patient was saved first. Ignore other patients. Say you give patients a back door. Treat differently. Professor Lia's face was full of hatred that iron could not become steel. I laughed angrily. I went to the site to check. Other colleagues who were slightly more serious have already dealt with it. The rest are minor injuries. Only 8 beds are seriously injured and critically ill. I don't keep watching. Let him go back to the hospital for surgery first. That's a dead end. Where do patients and their families take care of this? I heard what he meant. What does the hospital mean? Furlough. Doing research. Professor Lu was also very helpless. Okay, then can I cure the 8-bed patient and then get out? I tried. Professor Lu can naturally see that. The relationship between the two of us is unusual. I will apply with the above. Put your hands back into the pockets of your white coat. Go back to your office. Song Qingyu feels very bored during working days. He picked up the crutch next to him. Standing up with difficulty. Just got out of the ward. Just saw me standing in the emergency room. What are you communicating with the nurse? Very serious expression. A cry for help and a child's cry. Let me turn my head. I took a closer look. It's a mother and son. The child is only about 3 years old. Mother is a little anxious. Doctor, check it out for me. The child's arm is dislocated. I squat down, wiping the little boy's tears. Touching his dislocated arm. It doesn't hurt, I am just scared. Really? The little boy still couldn't stop crying. I motioned to my mother to cover his eyes. Let's play a game with my brother. After counting dozens, my arm will be fine. I stretch out my hands. Until the dislocation was found. The other hand holds the child's arm. Push up gently. Okay kid. Mother thanked her profusely. He also said he hadn't hung up yet. I smiled. Shake your head and watch the two people go out. The nurse saw Song Qingyu standing nearby. An exclamation for the 8-bed patient. Why did you get out of bed? I turned my head when I heard this. I saw Song Qingyu using crutches. Limping, he turned around and ran back. He doesn't want me to know he's peeking at me. So go very fast. Sure enough, he fell to the ground. It involves a newly healed wound. I quickly stepped forward. Lift him up. I didn't say you could get out of bed. My voice sounds a little angry. Do I have to listen to what you say? Song Qingyu was so painful that he broke into a cold sweat. The hospital you are in now. I am responsible for your life and health. Get rid of your eldest lady's temper. I asked the nurse to push a wheelchair over. Then he helped Song Qingyu sit down. Push her for a walk in the back garden of the hospital. By the way, I found a blanket to cover Song Qingyu's legs. I don't know. Doctors in the hospital also have the duty of accompanying people. Song Qingyu made a mockery. It's like I can't hear it. Don't tell anyone who can do it. I haven't blamed you for delaying my work. Neither of the two people are talking. Quietly basking in the sun in the backyard. The sun shines on two people. Warm. The afternoon when Song Qingyu was discharged from hospital. I came out of the hospital with a box of my stuff. I watched Song Qingyu surrounded by a group of people. Leaving hospital. I can only go back to the rental house alone. I have nothing to continue. Just worked for 4 months. Suspended without pay again. I have to consider finding another job during this period. Feed oneself. In the East Star Bar. I am late. This is Chen Haonan's store. The decorations on the walls reveal the owner's intentions. Elegant environment in the bar. Very comfortable. I patted and then turned to the busy Chen Haonan. Then go around to the other side and sit down. Chen Haonan didn't dare to agree after seeing me for a long time. It took a long time before he hugged me. I still prefer the way you look in a white coat. Shi Hao and Lu Wei came out of the toilet. 4 people having fun drinking. Chatting. Lu Wei is too drunk. We'll have to withdraw soon. Before leaving, he asked me to review on time. I am a little dazed. Just came back from the United States. I know Lu Wei and I work in the same hospital. It's just that he is in the psychological counseling department. I confessed to Shi Hao and Chen Haonan. I was suspended without pay due to a work error. Need to find another job now. Chen Haonan thought for a while. Tell me to come and sing here. You saw it too. The environment is like this. Whatever others give you is yours. You don't have to come every day. Chen Haonan always remembers that my voice is particularly good. I really can't refuse. He raised his glass and touched Chen Haonan's glass. Thank you then. Mid-November is my mother's birthday. 10 a.m. I came to the mental hospital. When I paid, I was told that it had already been paid. I nodded. I deposited some more money into it. Come to the door of the ward. I hesitate. The door was suddenly opened. It's Lin Wanqing. Looks like he can't stand it. Lin Wanqing saw that I was leaving. Turned around and entered the ward again. It'll follow you in. I found it was very lively inside. Except parents. And my grandparents and aunts. My dad is holding my mom's hand. Don't know what you are talking about. Joe May's face is red. The smile on his face hurt me. I closed my eyes. Put your bag on the table. Joe May was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2 years ago. During this period, I was hospitalized intermittently. Until I graduate and work. Just pay on time every month. Joe May and I haven't seen each other in the past 4 years. Make a call except on necessary holidays. No contact at all other times. I said hello to my grandparents, uncles and aunts. The sound of mom and dad was stuck in my throat. I can't scream at all. Zhao Bei is here. Joe May sat on the hospital bed and waved to me. I stood still and didn't move. I went to the window and found that I had paid the fee. I saved some more. I pretended not to see them. Looking out the window at the scenery. The branches are withered. I taught you. Grandpa's voice fell into everyone's ears. I turned my head. Look at Joe May. So have you reconciled with Grandpa? Joe May nodded. My mother used to be ignorant. I am just sick. I laughed contemptuously. I never knew. People with bipolar disorder may domestically abuse their children. A room of dead silence. I turned around and asked Linting again. You answered me with silence. Who am I? You hid me all these years. Say something to you. You are ignorant. You got through it easily when you were sick. Do you also want me to be like my grandparents? Same as my dad. Forgive you. You hit me so hard that my arm was dislocated. You don't take good care of me. I am sick and you think I am troublesome. You kidnapped me morally. But the funny thing is, make everyone around you feel it's hard to take care of you alone. And you've been an alcoholic for so many years. Acquiesce in what he did. Let him use me as a punching bag. I looked at Lin Ting. Who am I? Who am I? It's my turn to support. Restrict me from making friends. Force me to break up with death. You tried to make me forgive you for everything with just one sentence. Why? Forget it. I put my hand into the bag on the table. He fumbled and took out a knife. Roll up your sleeves and slide them down from your elbows to your wrists. Blood flowed everywhere. Everyone was shocked by my actions. Zhao Bei Lin Wanqing stepped forward. I was holding a knife in front of you. Even if it's to repay you for giving birth, I will pay you on time every month from now on. I hope this is the last time we meet. After all, you have someone who cares now. Zhao Bei is not like this. Zhou Mei covered her mouth and cried bitterly. Reach out to catch me. I really know I was wrong. I am standing at the door of the hospital. The arm has been bandaged. I look up at the sun. Lin Wanqing stands beside me. Lin Wanqing drove me back on the way. I fell asleep. His face looks a bit ugly. She had no choice but to drive around the entire mountain town. Let me sleep a little longer. Until the phone rings and wakes me up. Lin Wanqing was kind on the other end of the phone. Talking lovingly. Put me in the square. I'll go back by myself. I spoke after hanging up the phone. Lin Wanqing held the steering wheel and looked ahead. Go to dinner with me. I glanced at my phone. Slept for 3.5 hours. No wonder it's dark. I followed Lin Wanqing to a Hunan restaurant. Go into the box. I discovered that there were actually Song Qingyu and the others. I am a little annoyed. Lin Wanqing only has a few friends. The other people were all stunned when they saw me. Lin Wanqing's character has gone her own way since she was a child. Don't care about other people's opinions at all. You have the same aloof temperament as me. He took the menu and ordered a few dishes at random. Just throw the menu to the waiter. After putting on the chess piece, I lowered my head to eat in silence. A few people were chatting about business matters. But it's quiet most of the time. I inadvertently raised my head and caught Song Qingyu's gaze. Even though he had just recovered from a serious illness, he still looked very haggard. There is also a pair of crutches placed behind the seat. I quickly lowered my head. Pretend nothing happened. Secretly put the bandaged left hand under the table. Lin Wanqing stepped into my bowl with a cold face. Lu Mengyao is like a personal genius. I said, how did you get this arm? I was suddenly called, talking incoherently about that accident. Not finished yet, but was interrupted by Lin Wanqing's voice. I feel uncomfortable all over after eating a self-inflicted meal. Finally ended. I said goodbye to Lin Wanqing as if I was running away. Song Qingyu looked at my back in confusion. I'll wait until the wound is almost healed. I just started working at Chen Haonan's bar. The bar is quite clear. Song Qingyu is sitting in the booth. Just saw me sitting on a high stool singing. Sing a song until I finish my work for the day. Ready to go home. On the way backstage, I was stopped by a drunk rich woman. The rich woman gave me a wad of money. Pass me a bottle of wine. Don't know what you are talking about. Song Qingyu's eyes were as bright as a torch. A pair of eyes staring at two people. Remain silent. I raised my head and drank all the wine. Don't want to cause trouble to Chen Haonan. Put the bottle on the table. Neither light nor heavy. When I turn around with the money. But the rich woman rushed over and hugged her. I pushed her away. Throw the money in her face. Then he turned around and bowed to apologize to the guests who were looking over here. Passing by Song Qingyu's booth. No lag at all. Song Qingyu grabbed my right wrist. He raised his eyes. Throw 2 wads of money on the table. After drinking, I pulled back my hand and looked at the 3 bottles of wine on the table. Throwing the phone on the table. Start drinking gurglingly. Wang Teng watched from the sidelines. Can't help but make a sound. That's too much. Wanqing knows that she can fight tooth and nail for you. Song Qingyu twisted his lips. Full of disdain, Chen Haonan came over to grab my wine bottle. I pushed him away. After drinking, I took the money and phone from the table. After saying a few words to Chen Haonan, he left the bar. Song Qingyu stared at the table. I took the wrong phone from him. He reached for my phone. Screensaver. It was a secretly photographed photo of him secretly kissing me 5 years ago. The photo is extremely blurry, but he can still see my surprised eyes. Song Qingyu closed his eyes. The heart is just right. Like an earthquake. It was only when I got home that I realized I had the wrong phone. The screen lit up. I saw women wearing casual clothes sitting on the ground, hugging a dog. Little fatty, I reached out with tears in my eyes, rubbing the face of the fat boy and the woman. The phone rings suddenly. I slide to answer. Wrong phone number. Her cold voice came. I am sorry, I couldn't hold back my tears. I didn't move. The implication is obvious. She asked me to get it. Immediately I changed my clothes. Took a taxi. Drive to the gate of the community. Song Qingyu was sitting on the bench feeding Xiaopong some water. I walked forward gently, hand her the phone, then slowly squat down, try to touch the little one. Fatty raised his head and looked innocent. It took a long time before I seemed to remember something. Struggling to stand up, wagging tail, I hold him, eyes full of debt. Song Qingyu pulled the traction rope. I stood up in panic. He gave me the phone back. I pressed, found it was shut down. Song Qingyu turned his head to the side. Don't want to tell me that I saw the screensaver. And know the password, just use up the electricity. The battery is out. I am glad he didn't notice his screensaver. Then nodded. Can I? He can't be in the role. Disrupt and pick up the water basin on the ground, leading Xiaopong into the community. Little fatty walks very slowly. He still looks back at me from time to time. I turned around. Run fast. Don't want to make the fat guy feel uncomfortable. My appointment time with Lu Wei is at 2 p.m. Lu Wei saw me taking off my mask. The two of them walked to the clinic and sat down. In front of me are the snacks I loved to eat when I was in school. I am not interested. Tell Lu Wei quietly. I can't sleep again. There seems to be nothing particularly happy about it. My dad and Zhou Mei reconciled. He reconciled with everyone. So many years. It seems like I am the only one who's been abandoned. I suddenly felt that living was meaningless. It's better to die. Lu Wei kept comforting and enlightening me. He gave me some medicine and went back. And update me again and again. I promised not to tell anyone about my illness. Ever since Song Qingyu found out that I was working in a bar. Always come and sit if you have nothing to do. When you feel better, let me drink. Sarcasm with words. If I am in a bad mood, I just sit in the booth and say nothing. Part of my earnings will be transferred to Zhou Mei's bank card. Part of it is used to buy medicines and daily expenses. The days pass quickly. At the beginning of December, it was reported in newspapers and various media. Song Qingyu wants to marry the only son of the Shen group. News of engagement. That night, I still sing like a normal person. Song Qingyu didn't come to trouble me either. Long after the end, Chen Haonan found me squatting in the corner backstage. He didn't dare to step forward to comfort me. I can only watch silently from a distance. 1 a.m. I am standing under Song Qingyu's company building. I don't know why I came here either. I am competing with myself. If I really could meet Song Qingyu, that's the chance God gave me to be reborn. If you can't touch it, then forget it. The winter wind in the mountain city is biting. I stood wearing a down jacket for more than an hour. I was already shivering from the cold. Song Qingyu drove out of the underground garage. Just saw me standing in front of the company's door and kept crying. His eyes are gloomy. Looks complicated. Just kick the accelerator and rush forward. I hear voices. He quickly ran over and stopped his car. Song Qingyu didn't expect me to be so desperate. Turn the steering wheel hard. After a sharp turn, apply the brakes to stop the car. As soon as he opened the car door, he started to curse. If you want to die, you go find another car. I am also in shock. Why haven't you spoken for a long time? His tone is bad. Standing in front of the company in the middle of the night. I don't know how to speak. He saw me like that. The car door closed with a bang. Not to mention I was frightened by his appearance. I am reminding you to review on time. Song Qingyu returned to school angrily. Dr. Lin is really responsible. In the middle of the night. Lin Bei, are you playing with me? I take a deep breath. You are getting engaged. Is it true? Song Qingyu glanced at me. Has something to do with you? A little bit related. I paused. Look at his face. If it is false, I want to chase you. His eyelids moved. I think you are really sick. Losing his memory, he slammed the car door. Drive away directly. I stood blankly on the roadside. After a while, Song Qingyu drove the car back. Put down the window and watch me get in the car. I heard him say that. Get into the car quickly. Song Qingyu was silent for a long time. Then he spoke slowly. I am 26 and I don't understand what he means. I don't have time to waste my time letting others chase me. When they were in love, he stared straight ahead. Drive carefully. I thought he refused. I am a little frustrated. I agree with marriage. He straightened his lips. No emotion. What shocks me? Don't dare him to sneer. Then forget it and change it. I quickly agreed. Okay, tomorrow afternoon. Song Qingyu stopped talking. The car is driving smoothly on the road. I realized I didn't even ask him where he was going. Just got in the car. Song Qingyu took me back to his house. 5 years later. no longer obedient to me. So arrogant. Early the next morning, I woke up from my dream, sitting on the bed sweating profusely. Song Qingyu was woken up by my movements. Looked at the watch. It's only 6 o'clock, less than 3 hours of sleep. You can't wait to marry me. The words imply that I woke up too early. I am not in the mood to argue with him. The whole person is shaking. I started having nightmares again. Song Qingyu just realized something was wrong with me. Hug me from behind. My tears are even more uncontrollable. Song Qingyu, I am sorry. Sorry for what? No more silence. The whole person shrank into a ball. After I came out of the room, I just found out there was someone else's at home. Song Qingyu took a spoon and filled a bowl of porridge. Zhou Yi is the nanny I am looking for. He didn't speak when he saw me. He shouted again to eat. I nodded towards Zhou Yi. Sit on the table. Song Qingyu is full. I haven't moved yet. Why don't you have an appetite? I lowered my head and didn't answer. Zhou Yi wears an apron and wipes his hands. What do you want to eat, sir? I'll do it for you. I shook my head. I just didn't sleep well. Song Qingyu did not question my words. I stood up slowly, walking to the sofa with a tired face. Hug Xiaochuang. Zhou Yi wants to help me get my braids, but was stopped by Song Qingyu. He looks at me like he did 5 years ago, then walked up to me, reaching for the car keys on the coffee table. Meeting in the morning. I'll pick you up in the afternoon. You and I look a little dull. I left urgently and forgot all my documents. Let's go together then. After saying that, he put on his coat. Leave without looking back. I watched Song Qingyu close the door. There are only Zhou Yi and me at home. I smiled politely at him. Then he focused on Xiaopeng's body. During this period, Professor Liu asked me to go back to the hospital. Asked me to officially resume work after New Year's Day. It's already 12 o'clock when I left the hospital. I am a little confused. I agreed vaguely. He got married. I didn't consider my current state at all. It's still early. I walked slowly to my rental car. Get your documents. I want to rush to Song Qingyu. Traffic jam all the way. When I arrive, Song Qingyu is already sitting on the sofa waiting for me. He didn't speak. Lead the way on your own. The car was parked at the Civil Affairs Bureau. His tone was light. I got out of the car and looked at him. Really thought about it. Have you told your aunt? Song Qingyu had a straight face. You don't need to worry. As long as it's a man. He is satisfied. I was silent for a moment. Song Qingyu turned to look at me. Live with me from now on. Not allowed to work in bars. I will transfer your living expenses to you regularly every month. I nodded and shook my head. I won't go to the bar. No need for living expenses. I will go back to work in the hospital next month. As you wish. He got out of the car and knocked on my passenger door. I came down slowly. Inside the Civil Affairs Bureau, the staff held the camera and directed enthusiastically. Come 2 people and get closer. The bride and groom should smile. I forced out a smile. A warmth came from my waist. I turned my head and looked. Song Qingyu is hugging me tightly. A little red glow finally appeared on my pale face. On the way back, I am sitting in the back seat of the car. Secretly took out the marriage certificate. Watch again and again. Where are we going? The sunset outside the car is a bit dazzling. Song Qingyu didn't sleep well last night. Emotionally unstable. No intention of talking to me at all. I don't want to ask for it. Monk sleeps in the back seat of boring car. Soon, the car was parked in the underground parking lot of a large supermarket. Entered the supermarket. Song Qingyu is pushing a shopping cart. Buy whatever you like. After shopping, I'll go to your house to pack my luggage. I am silent. 2 people moved from the fresh food area to the snack area. Go to the daily necessities area. I didn't take anything. Song Qingyu is all picking and choosing. I am not interested. I had to push the shopping cart quietly. Song Qingyu followed me to the rental house. The house is small, just 1 bed and 1 bathroom. I have very few things. 2 suitcases are almost finished. When I went to the bathroom to pack the toiletries, Song Qingyu sat beside the bed. Open the bedside table. I hear voices. He walked forward in panic. Put the cases and medicine inside. Throw it all into the suitcase. It's all patient information and vitamins. I am a little nervous. Song Qingyu didn't say anything. It was already late at night when we returned to the community. Zhou Yi has already prepared a table of dishes. Wait until we both come back. I rejected Zhou Yi with an apologetic look. Turn around and hide in the house to pack your things. Sir her. Zhou Yi is a bit hard to figure out my preferences. Song Qingyu took off his coat and sat at the table to eat. Zhou Yi doesn't need to worry about it. She is just afraid. Strangers won't make things difficult for you. If she has any needs, you should try your best to satisfy her. She loves spicy food. Personality is also relatively quiet. Zhou Yi quickly agreed. I opened the closet. It's all Song Qingyu's daily wear. I reached out and pulled her clothes aside. Then hang up your clothes one by one. The little fat guy was lying next to the bed looking at me. I took it from the suitcase. Take out the medical records and anti-epidemic drugs from the past few years. I walked to the living room. It was discovered that Song Qingyu had disappeared. There is only Zhou Yi washing dishes in the kitchen. I spoke softly, afraid that the sudden sound would scare her. Where has Song Qingyu gone? Zhou Yi's work doesn't stop. Looking up, my lady went to the company. Let yourself sleep alone. I said hello to Zhou Yi. I went to the pharmacy at the entrance of the community and bought 2 bottles of vitamins. Open bottle. Throw the medicine into the trash can. Then he turned around and went home. Song Qingyu didn't go home for several days in a row. I can't sleep. She doesn't know about this either. When Chen Haonan came to find me, I made an appointment with Lu Wei and Shi Hao. Shi Hao yelled while holding a wine glass. You and Song Qingyu received the certificates. I again acquiesced to this fact. Outrageous. Every time you two are in a bar, you are as tense as your enemies. I haven't come to the bar to sing for several days. I thought you were killed by him. Chen Haonan's tone was a bit unbelievable. I won't go there again. He doesn't agree. I sighed. Then how do you pay your mother's hospital bills? Shi Hao asked a question. I thought for a long time. The house is withdrawn. The landlord will give me back the rent. I will go to work next month. Chen Haonan hates that iron cannot become steel. I feel like I will be eaten to death by Song Qingyu in my life. Before going home, I returned the landlord's key. It didn't take long for me to receive a transfer. I opened the door. What caught my eye was a woman. Hunched over, rummaging in the drawer under the coffee table. Zhou Yi stood nearby and looked at me, and I was shocked. See me staring at the living room all the time. Zhou Yi quickly explained. Did the lady's assistant scare you? Zhou Yi urged. Find it quickly. Sha Ning heard Zhou Yi's voice. Continue searching quickly. Out of the boss neighborhood. After getting in the car, Sha Ning quickly sent the documents to the office. He handed the document to Song Qingyu. The pestle stayed there for a long time without moving. Song Qingyu didn't even raise his eyes. Sha Ning hesitated for a long time. Sister, that man. Only then did Song Qingyu get out of the document. Look up at him. He is my husband. Sha Ning was stunned on the spot. Song Qingyu smiled and said, What? Go buy some snacks for everyone. Sha Ning muttered softly. What snacks are you having? Everyone wants to see what my brother-in-law is like. Song Qingyu's hand holding the pen paused. I think of that lonely figure in my mind. If I finish the work at hand today, I'll call him tonight. Invite everyone to dinner. Sha Ning shouted excitedly. Turn around and run out to inform everyone. Then there was a burst of cheers. I am watching TV at home with my little fat girl in my arms. Song Qingyu opened the door with a very quiet voice. Fatty fell asleep. I didn't hear it either. When you walk in, you see the dishes on the dining table. I didn't eat it again. He frowned. Walked to living room. I was shocked when I saw him. Song Qingyu told me to change clothes. Go to a party with me. Close the door when you see me. Song Qingyu turned around and asked Zhou Yi. He didn't eat at night. Zhou Yi shook her head. Apologetic. Sorry, Miss Sir. He has been here for a week. Basically only eat 1 meal a day. Not much to eat. Not staying in the room. Just sitting in the living room. I only left the door once. Song Qingyu frowned even more. Waited on the sofa for a while. Soon I came out wearing a black down jacket. Still wearing hats and scarves. Song Qingyu pulled it off. It will heat up. There is a heater in the car. Hotels also have it. Follow Song Qingyu out the door. I am a little nervous. I was sweating all the way. Song Qingyu glanced at me sideways. They are all colleagues in my company. It's just a normal dinner party. I responded. Just turn your head and look out the window. 2 people came to a restaurant. Enter the largest private room. There were about 20 people sitting inside. The original chirping sound. I was interrupted by Song Qingyu and I who opened the door. The crowd cheered, jokingly saying that we are a match made in heaven. I sat down next to Song Qingyu. He handed me the menu. Shake your head when you see me. Song Qingyu was a little unhappy. I added a few more dishes that I remember as being my favorite. Just say it casually to everyone. Just an ordinary party. No superiors or subordinates. Everyone agreed. I drank a few sips of water. Didn't eat anything. It took more than 3 hours to eat 1 meal. Song Qingyu was so spoiled that he couldn't even stand still. I put him in the passenger seat. Drive all the way back. Song Qingyu kept his mouth shut. No fuss or vomiting. Arrived at the parking lot. I glanced at the time. It's too late. Sorry to disturb Zhou Yi. I unfastened Song Qingyu's seatbelt. Song Qingyu opened his confused eyes. Grab my wrist. You are so unwilling to marry me. peerless protest. I forced you. It's hard for me to explain. I am just not feeling well. If you feel uncomfortable, go to the hospital. I look at him. I don't want to be with you. I am very happy. The words have not yet fallen. Kisses fell all over the sky. It hit me so hard that I was dizzy. Then I heard Song Qingyu murmuring, "Because I hate you." Song Qingyu was wearing home clothes when she woke up. Today is the weekend. The company's affairs have also come to an end. He doesn't plan to go to work. I am busy in the kitchen. Wake up, wash up and eat. Where's Aunt Jo? Song Qingyu said in confusion. Today is the weekend. I gave him a day off. I turn off the heat and serve the porridge out. Song Qingyu just woke up. It turns out to be a bit fierce. Mechanically drinking porridge into his mouth. I still have no appetite. I drank half of the bowl of porridge. Just sit across from him and wait for the dishes to be washed. Song Qingyu looked up at me. I look very bad. The whole person looks unhealthy. He put down his chopsticks. You don't have to do this in the future. Take good care of yourself when you are sick. You don't need to worry about anything else. I just want to be nice to you. I explained. My awkwardness bothers him. You said this 5 years ago. Song Qingyu stood up from the stool. Go into the bedroom. Haven't been out all day. After I finish washing the dishes. Take the fat boy out for a walk. Bare trees in the neighborhood. Already tied with a red rope by the property owner. Doesn't look so depressed. I just reacted. It's almost a year. Come back and hide in the room. After taking the medicine, I fell into a drowsy sleep. Song Qingyu walked into the room. Turn on the bedside lamp. I curled up into a ball. I still frowned in my sleep. Looks very uncomfortable. Wrists exposed under pajama sleeves. A little bit black and blue. She carefully took my hand. Qingqing's mother spread my arm. Only then did I discover that there was a sinuous and sinister scar underneath. It made her wonder what happened in the past 5 years. The itching sensation on my wrist made me open my eyes. I sit up. I saw Song Qingyu looking at me with a complicated expression. Anyway, he saw it. I simply won't cover it up anymore. A little hungry. I spoke calmly. After taking antidepressant medicine, either sleepy or hungry, so I am not stubborn to a certain extent. I don't want to take medicine at all. Song Qingyu doesn't want to force me to eat anything. At the dinner table, he casually prepared 2 dishes and 1 soup. Average taste, but it's much better than 5 years ago when I couldn't cook. I stupidly took the rice into my mouth. Song Qingyu saw me like this. A little worried. It'll take you to the hospital for a checkup the day after tomorrow. No need, I spoke calmly. Check it out. See where you feel uncomfortable. I will still be with Song Qingyu on Monday. I came to the hospital where I work for a checkup. Before I go out with the inspection report, Song Qingyu asked the nurse at the door of the consulting room. I've probably heard about 77 or 88. Understand why I am in the hospital and not working. You have to go to the bar and shop. I feel uncomfortable for a while. Until 2 p.m. The 2 of us had a meal out before we got the results. I am not surprised at all. My liver function is not good. Prescribed some medicine. Go through the emergency department. Getting ready to leave hospital. I saw Professor Lu step forward respectfully. He lowered his head and called teacher. Professor Lu was passed over. Looks bad. He poked my forehead hard. Tell me about you. Working together for women. All work is gone. I cover my head with my hands. Aren't you going back to work soon? Professor Lu is so angry. Look at your face. Those who didn't know would have thought you fell into the flour. He said and grabbed my physical examination report. Read it carefully from beginning to end. Then he took out the red envelope and stuffed it into my arms with the report. Come on, I have to go back to work. I wiped my tears. Song Qingyu bowed to Professor Lu. The 2 people left the hospital one after another. Watching Song Qingyu get in the car, I stood motionless on the roadside. He was a little confused about what he was doing. I want to go to my grandparents' house. You go first. It'll take a taxi. Song Qingyu lowered his head and looked at me outside the car. I can't go. I am a little embarrassed. I haven't told them about our marriage yet. Song Qingyu stepped on the accelerator suddenly. He disappeared into the hospital after a while. Soon I hailed a taxi. Reported the address. Song Qingyu saved a whole morning's work. He lay in front of the computer and kept typing on the keyboard. There was a knock on the office door. He didn't even look up. I knew it was Lu Mengyao. What's going on? Haven't seen you for a few days. I heard you got married. I heard them say no. With young Master Shen, Lu Mengyao was thinking, it can't be. Look at how badly that stock fell today. Who is it? It was Lin Bei and Song Qingyu who answered with a smile. Lu Mengyao laughed at herself. I need to ask more. I put together a Christmas tree in my grandpa's living room. The old couple were watching next to me. Unexpectedly, Lin Wanqing was also at home. I stayed and had supper. Before leaving, I looked at my grandparents and they were a little reserved. I am married. After leaving with Song Qingyu, Lin Wanqing called and asked Song Qingyu to come out. Song Qingyu just arrived. Lin Wanqing walked up and slapped her. I asked angrily, what do you mean? Why did you provoke him? Song Qingyu wiped the corners of his mouth. Lin Wanqing said nothing. I am so angry. He has been pitiful enough in his life. What else do you want to do? He did it voluntarily, right? I didn't force him. He stood firm, looking at Lin Wanqing angrily. When Song Qingyu returned home, I am sitting on the sofa in the living room waiting for him. He ignored me, turned around and entered the room. Sitting on the edge of the bed, thinking about what Lin Wanqing said to him. I don't know what it feels like. More than a week in a row, Song Qingyu didn't go home. I tried to open his circle of friends. Except for the photo with Dabao. Almost nothing special. I found out after watching the news. After I married him, Song Qingyu's company's stock plummeted. Not going home for so many days. He should be dealing with this matter.